No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest Night 2, or is it Night 3 if you're counting Rampage? Week 2 of Fyter Fest. There you go. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate your viewership and support. This week's Dynamite was in the greater Atlanta area. We kicked off Dynamite with Brody King versus Darby Allin, a little grudge match between these two. Now, several weeks back on Rampage, we had that battle royal. Brody King won when he eliminated Darby at the end. So this was Darby's attempt to get some payback, some retribution. And by the way, in case you did not know, this is Shark Week on Discovery. They only mentioned it like 30 times during the show. Shark Week, everybody. Darby went right after Brody King, went for a suicide dive, but he got caught and he was thrown into the barricade. Brody beat the crap out of Darby for a while. Darby tried to jump off the top rope and Brody just shoved him away like he was a fly getting in his face. Had to just swat at him and get rid of him. Darby ended up using a belt. He wrapped the belt around Brody's legs. Clever way to try and take advantage. Jeff Meacham texting me during the Dynamite stream asking to be on the No DQ review. So, Jeff, you got to take it to Mr. Virtue. Anyways, Brody King was able to get back in control. He went for a cannonball, but he missed. Darby hit the code red, but Brody King kicked out. And then Brody on the apron put on the sleeper that won him the battle royal. Darby passed out on the outside of the ring, and he barely beat the 10 count. He got in right there at 9, and Brody King then finished off Darby, hit him with the Gonzo bomb. That looked absolutely brutal, and he picked up the win. So this was a good match. I liked it. Right guy won, in my opinion. Brody King. I think if you're trying to suspend disbelief, you would think that Brody King would destroy Darby Allin. Darby got in a little bit of offense. It's all good. Afterwards, he continued the attack, and Sting came down to the ring. He went for the Scorpion Death Drop, but the lights went out, and when they came back on, Malachi Black stared down Sting. Brody King came from behind with the sleeper. Malachi Black spit some mist into Sting's face, and then Miro arrived, and something was up with Miro's glasses. Like one side was a different color than the other. I'm not sure what the hell was up with that. Did he get an injury to his eye or something? I have no idea. I haven't been watching Rampage, so maybe there's an angle I missed. But yeah, Miro came down, and I guess Miro's a face now. Miro had a little stare down with the House of Black, and that was that. We had the former Two Dimes from WWE NXT 2.0. He was backstage cutting a promo. He's now going under the name Cole Carter. He was interrupted by Ricky Starks, and Ricky made a reference to NXT, said that last time we saw him, he was sleeping with the fishes, and now he's swimming with the sharks, because it's Shark Week. What a fitting time for Two Dimes Cole Carter to debut on Dynamite. Lots of interesting comments in the chat room. People are just talking about the main event right now. So stay tuned for that. I definitely have a lot to say regarding the main event. We had Jon Moxley and Wheeler Yuta against the Best Friends. Of course, Wheeler Yuta used to be part of the Best Friends faction. You had William Regal and Orange Cassidy on commentary. Well, Orange Cassidy, doing his shtick, just sitting there basically. And things got heated very quickly between Yuta and Trent. Chuck threw Yuta into the barricade, and Moxley got a hot tag. Chuck was thrown over the announce or timekeeper's table, whatever it is. Not the announce table, they're up on the stage. The timekeeper's table. Things started to break down, and Yuta was tagged back in, I think. I don't even know. He was hit with a spiked pile driver, but he managed to kick out of that. And Yuta then recovered. He pinned Chuck, and backstage, a clip was shown of Daniel Garcia watching. Daniel Garcia will be challenging Wheeler Yuta for the Ring of Honor Pure title this weekend, Saturday night, at the Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view. Then we had a very WWE-like segment, a celebration of the new tag team champions, Swerve and Our Glory, being interviewed by Tony Schiavone. But as usual, I feel Tony Schiavone really doesn't do much. He hands them the mic and they basically do all the talking. Crowd was chanting, "You deserve it." They thanked the fans, and they were quickly interrupted by Smart Mark Sterling and Tony Nese. Now, Smart Mark has been going around with this petition to get Swerve fired from AEW, removed from the roster, whatever. And they were trying to get rapper Kevin Gates to sign it. Kevin Gates was at ringside for the show, and when he did not agree to sign it, Smart Mark said his music sucks. Gates went over the barricade and ended up punching out Tony Nese, which is fine. Tony Nese is bottom of the totem pole here. And then Swerve grabbed a cake and threw the cake into the face of Smart Mark. So yes, like I said, a very WWE-like segment, although at least this one's better than most of the WWE segments because the heel was the one that got the cake to the face. So AEW knows how to get it right. And good old JM wants to know, where is Vacant's championship celebration? Very good question there, Jeff. We had a backstage segment with Butcher and Blade attacking the Dark Order backstage, and Adam Page ended up making the save. And the only reason I mentioned this segment, period, is because it was the one appearance of Adam Page. Remember him? Former world champion Adam Page making a 10-second appearance on Dynamite. Wow, how the mighty have fallen. We had Christian Cage and Luchasaurus versus the Varsity Blondes. And this was basically a squash match. I mean, this is how you book a monster. Let's face it, Varsity Blondes right now, their job is to put over other people. And Luchasaurus getting this monster push right now, he's gonna be taking guys out. And that's what he did. Garrison and Pillman tried to double team, but Luchasaurus clotheslined them both. He power bombed Pillman and then actually choke slammed Pillman and then choke slammed Garrison onto Pillman. Christian Cage tagged in, pinned Pillman to get the glory. And then Luchasaurus lifted up Christian on his shoulders, just like what he used to do to Jungle Boy. But then, sure enough, the music hit. Jungle Boy is back. Jungle Boy with a steel chair. He had a little stare off with Luchasaurus on the outside of the ring. But Luchasaurus stepped aside. Jungle Boy with the chair ran after Christian Cage, and Christian escaped through the crowd. And And I guess Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy are reunited. Jeff Meacham brought it up. But here's the thing, Jeff. I sense this is a swerve, and Luchasaurus is going to turn his back on Jungle Boy. Like right now, he's kind of conflicted, but I sense like this is not Luchasaurus going back to a face turn. I do think that Luchasaurus is going to turn against Jungle Boy at some point in the near future. Like that would be really dumb if Luchasaurus went back to being a babyface. I don't think that's happening. I think this is just a tease that all is right with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, and there's going to be a double cross. We had the match Cole Carter, formerly Two Dimes, against Ricky Starks for the FTW Championship, the also prestigious FTW title. Anyways, the crowd did not care for Carter one bit, maybe because they associate him with NXT. I don't know. NXT 2.0 for that matter. Ricky Starks, the clear babyface. Starks is going to be the babyface against most guys at this point. Carter did get some offense. He hit a cutter, but then he went off the top, missed a 450, and Starks hit the spear, got the win. Afterwards, Starks issued another challenge, open challenge to anybody. Danhausen accepted the challenge, but then Starks said, nope, he meant next week, not this week. And the crowd booed that, but Starks said that they can just tune in and watch next week. They'll be fine. And that match was officially confirmed for next week, which is the Fight for the Fallen special of AEW Dynamite. I feel like more weeks than not, there is a special edition of Dynamite. So you know you're not getting premium Dynamite when it doesn't have a tagline or a nickname. We had FTR in the ring for an interview with Tony Schiavone. And again, Tony really did not say much. You had Cash Wheeler talking about how they've had a pretty decent year. Of course, they've had, I think, more than a decent year. He brought up the 2 out of 3 falls match against the Briscoes this Saturday at Death Before Dishonor, and just said they're not going to lose the titles. Harwood got pretty emotional, talking about his daughter. She was 5 years old, diagnosed with a hole in her heart, had to fight her ass off for 3 years to get healthy. And Dax said that he is going to fight like her, fight like an 8-year-old girl, and create a legacy that will make her proud. Dax did a great job here, of course. Great babyface promo from him. Very well done. And 9:15 to 9:30, guys. You know what time it is. The women's segment of the show. Willow and Athena against the TBS champion Jade Cargill and Kiara Hogan. I did not think this was a very good match. They seemed off. The storyline in this match was Jade would not get in the ring with Athena right away. Eventually she did. She took a cheap shot, and then after the commercial break, we finally got Jade and Athena going at it. Before the match, by the way, Jade brought up how she's from Atlanta, and I guess that made her the babyface for this show. Kiara Hogan got powerbombed on the apron by Athena. Did not really look very good. Stokely Hathaway then provided a distraction. Athena got thrown into the steel steps by Jade, and then Jade tagged into the match, pinned Willow with the Jaded. Hey, I'm looking for a positive here. At least Jade got to be on the show in a match, considering she's the TBS champion. You would think she would be wrestling on TBS more often. And then we had our main event of the evening, the barbed wire everywhere death match. Painmaker Chris Jericho versus Eddie Kingston. And this match, been building for months and months, this feud between the two of them. So this was Eddie Kingston's chance to redeem himself, win his feud against Chris Jericho. So let's talk about it. We had a shark cage. The Jericho Appreciation Society members were hoisted up in the shark cage. No Sammy Guevara, though. Now, he was taken out several weeks ago during the Blood and Guts match when he was sent off the top of the cage through the nice little table that was set up, cushioned underneath for him to fall on. He was gone for about 3 weeks. Everybody in the chat talking about this match. So with these type of shark cage gimmicks, you kind of suspect they're going to somehow get down. You had Ruby Soho out there as the keeper of the key, and she had the little switch to bring the JAS up and down. Eddie Kingston went right after Jericho. He grabbed the microphone that Justin Roberts had, which had barbed wire wrapped around it. He hit Jericho with it repeatedly. He got on the mic, said that Jericho's going to bleed. And sure enough, Jericho was bleeding right off the bat. And it went back and forth. Jericho grabbed the ring bell, which was covered in barbed wire. He used that. And Jericho hit a Hurricane Rana to Kingston off the top. And Kingston landed on a barbed wire board. And they were both on the apron. Jericho ended up being suplexed by Kingston onto a barbed wire table, through the barbed wire table, I should say. And then at this point, Ty Conti shows up. Ty Conti gets over to Ruby Soho and tries to get the switch, but then Anna Jay shows up. However, it was a swerve. Anna Jay turned heel, attacking Ruby Soho, and then Anna grabs the switcher and helps the JAS get down. Ty Conti grabbed the key and was trying to unlock the shark cage. However, we're live, pal. Malfunction. She could not open the cage. So Daniel Garcia just went through the cage. He literally just went right through the bars, and the JAS escaped. So this was quite comical, and they went after Kingston. And then, of course, you had the good guys come out, the Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio, etc. They made the save, and Eddie hit the back fist, but Jericho kicked out of it. Jericho hit a code breaker using a barbed wire covered chair, but Eddie kicked out of that. Eddie recovered. Eddie put on the submission using the barbed wire for extra pain, and he was on the verge of winning, but you guessed it, Sammy Guevara showed up to make the save, and then Jericho used a barbed wire Judas effect. Barbed wire wrapped around his elbow, hit the Judas effect, and scored the victory over Eddie Kingston. So Eddie Kingston loses another big one. He got that one win back at, Revolution? But the big match to finally get his revenge on Jericho after Jericho betrayed him, and they had the blood and guts and all these things that have happened since. Eddie Kingston loses to Jericho. Poor Eddie Kingston, always losing the big matches. And then afterwards, Eddie tried to fight them off. Eddie went for the spinning back fist, and I think he was supposed to hit Jericho, but he did not connect, and it was kind of sloppy here. Kingston fought them off, and he ended up throwing Jericho outside of the ring, there was like another barbed wire board, like a spider web setup, and Jericho went through that board. So I guess Eddie gets his revenge, whatever. Match was entertaining, but it was a bit of a clusterfuck, I have to say. Building Nexus sent in a $10 super chat, says, prediction for AEW's future. Moxley versus Jericho for the interim title. Moxley wins. Then Punk returns and wins the unified title by turning heel. Eventually, MJF returns as a face and beats Punk for the title. Well, thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate it. And I am very down with the idea of MJF versus Punk. Champion versus champion. I really think that MJF should beat Moxley to win the interim title and then do champion versus champion MJF versus CM Punk. But if they do Moxley versus CM Punk, that's fine too. Regardless, I do want to see MJF versus CM Punk for the AEW title, whether it's champion versus champion or the one title. That's what I'm hoping we will get at some point in 2023. Imagine doing that like right before MJF's contract is up. They do that match, and it's kind of like reverse Money in the Bank 2011, where instead of CM Punk trying to win the title and walk out of the company, that's what MJF is going to do. Like, imagine that. And if they did that in Chicago at next year's All Out, that would be crazy. Anyways, Dynamite was good. I did enjoy the barbed wire match. Not a fan of Eddie Kingston losing again. You know, he always seems to lose the big time matches. He did get that one win at Revolution. Rest of the show was fine, but pretty standard AEW. Good stuff, but nothing super noteworthy in my opinion, but a very solid show. I'm going to give it a B. Good Dynamite overall. I enjoyed it. You know, definitely an easy watch and all that stuff. And I would say a somewhat recommend. Definitely the main event is worth checking out, but it did get a little nuts, and there was some unintentional humor in that match. So all in all, good show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I very much appreciate it. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube and leave a comment on YouTube. Let me know your thoughts on the barbed wire match. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs middle. Let me know. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest wrestling news and rumors. I think Jeff Meacham will be on the No DQ review this week. I don't know. He texted me earlier asking to be on, so put me on the spot when I am live. Good old JM Jeff Meacham. If Virtue's cool with it, we'll make it happen for the review this week. Stay tuned, everybody. Review back at 8 o'clock Eastern Thursday night. Normal time slot. Take care, everybody. And remember to say yes to NoDQ.com. See you all next time.